welcome back to the SpoilerCast, the show where we talk about movies, new and old, and we don't care about spoiling them because it's in the name, it's the SpoilerCast. And, of course, I am the guy who hates title reveals, who has to spend...
If you've seen today's video.
Yes, spend precious actual work time to bitch about the new Spider-Man title on the internet. I also host and run this podcast together with my sister and trusty co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. So, today we're not going to talk too much about Disney and Spider-Man and how they're ruining the film, the film as an art form, basically.
Hopefully not at all, but
no, that's not gonna happen. Because I just this is a continuation. If you want to hear us bitch for like an hour and a half about stuff like this and be kind of pretentious, or at least I'm pretentious, talking about real film, you should check out our Patreon page where we last week did an exclusive episode where we did nothing but talk about Disney and sequels, and it was very nice to vent. So, yeah, for just a few bucks a month, you can listen to 2 podcasts a week. The free one and the exclusive one. Also, there is a bunch of other... there's commentary tracks, there's exclusive videos, and more stuff coming. Or if you just want to support us without paying anything, that's also very welcome. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can hear this show. Yeah, that's it. Let's start the show. Right, so I just gotta ask you. I know you saw the title reveal. What did you think of it? Like, and like, you don't have to like. If you thought it was cool, that's okay. I'm not. It's just me being an asshole on the internet.
Honestly, I don't care. It was kind of funny because if you know anything about the Marvel universe and Tom Holland, he is terrible at keeping secrets, apparently.
Yeah, I know. There's
a bunch of compilations of him accidentally spoiling things on like talk shows.
Accidentally.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's so much accident, but sometimes, and they've made a running gag of it. So yeah, I know. I know that. But I don't care. Like, so it's a name. I don't. Yeah. Whatever. That was only for the stands.
Oh yeah, the stands.
Or like Tom Holland stands. Even it's not even for like the Spider-Man stands.
And I saw like I wrote in or like I said in the video, like I saw people breaking down the doodles on the whiteboard. Like, what could this mean? What could that? I'm like, please.
Well, that's the Marvel fans though.
Yeah, and this is on a podcast. I don't know how popular it was or whatever, but a podcast is run by adults usually, or at least like young adults.
20-something or up.
Yeah, and like, why are you looking at a whiteboard in a teaser for a title?
You do realize that they would have done that even if it was just an image of that whiteboard.
I know. But
people are so invested in the Marvel universe.
I know. And that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about last week.
Yes.
Or, well, this week, technically. That's what I talked about in the video, and it's bumming me out.
Yeah.
But then we got an actual teaser for a new movie, Army of the Dead.
Yes.
So I made a little follow-up video with that one. Now,
I didn't have time to see that one yet. So
oh, okay.
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like you know what? It looks like a Zack Snyder movie. So it looks
cool.
Stupid.
Yeah, but cool.
Yeah, sure, cool, but it's just like, instead of 100 zombies, I want to have 100 million zombies.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What little I saw, it kind of looked like I keep forgetting the name of that video game where you're a photographer in a mall.
Dead Rising.
Yes, it kind of looks like that.
Yes, because Dead Rising 2 took place in fake Las Vegas, I suppose.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah, it's on Netflix, so I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not getting my hopes up for that movie.
It's not out yet, right?
No, it comes out in May.
Okay, cool.
I think it said 21st of May. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about real film. Kino, as some would call it in German.
Okay.
Eller film
or
in Swedish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or film in English as well.
Or film in English, yes. This isn't a movie we're going to talk about. We're talking about a film. A piece of art. No, but...
A movie that has been premiered at a film festival.
Yes, Toronto International Film Festival.
That's the one.
Not your scummy Sundance Film Festival. Anyway... no, all jokes aside, though, it's a smaller movie called The Kid Detective, starring what's his name, Adam Brody from the OC and not much else.
Yeah, that's what he's mostly named for.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff since then, but that's the kind of role because it was super popular for 5 years, so he's probably good for money for the rest of his life, based solely on that.
I mean, he's done a few.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps working, of course, but like, he doesn't have to like get all the roles and be in all. He doesn't have to be in Marvel movies. He can be in movies he wants to make, like The Kid Detective.
Actually, he's been in a couple of movies that we've talked about.
He has. I know he was in Shazam. Had a small part.
He was one of the superhero versions in Shazam. He was the singer in the band in Jennifer's Body.
Oh, right. Go back and check out our Jennifer's Body episode.
Yes. I think those are the ones we've talked about specifically, but like he's been in a few other things, more or less recently, like consistently throughout the years.
Yeah.
Just, not the biggest parts or not the biggest movies.
Yeah, and I never paid attention to him because I remember actually I sat down to watch the premiere of OC when it started. Was it 2003? 3, so I was 13.
Okay, like, that's why I was like, no, what? I was too young for that. Yeah. I didn't realize, understand.
I wasn't really into teen drama, but there was something about that because it was about a bad boy who stole a car and got arrested. It was, I gotta watch this. And the Adam Brody character was more like who I was because he was playing video games. He was a nerd.
The couldn't get girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That's me. But I think I only watched the first episode, and then through osmosis, I've seen some other episodes. But that's about it. I've never paid attention to Adam Brody until now, basically. Well, I noticed him in Shazam, of course, but
again, he had like a small part.
Yeah, he's only in the last 15 minutes,
something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, so I was pleasantly surprised by him as an actor in this, and pleasantly surprised of the movie in general.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, but we gotta do this the way we always do it. I gotta ask you first, since this was my choice. What did you think of the movie?
Best movie I've seen so far in a while, to be honest. So far this year and in a while in general.
Okay.
Like new movies. I mean, we've seen some old movies who are great.
Oh, sure.
But like, I haven't seen a new movie that is this good. I was invested, and normally when it's a mystery involved, I have been pretty consistently great at figuring out parts of it.
Yeah.
I want to have there's a good word for it. It's like gobsmacked or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Completely. No, I had no idea that was going to be the end. Until when he was sitting there describing things, I was like, "Oh my god, he's got her."
It all makes sense. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I could figure out that she's not dead. That I know. I was like, okay, she's not dead. And then when we saw the grape soda, it's like, told ya.
Oh, okay.
But that was kind of like, nah, you didn't get the rest of it, so you can't count that one.
Yeah, and well, we should like say the premise first. We forgot about that.
Well,
that's hopefully if you're watching this, you've seen the movie already because we're gonna spoil stuff. Like you already said, a big spoiler for the ending, but that's the point. Yeah, that's the point.
I did warn people in the Instagram post. I hope.
Yeah.
Someone might have seen it.
Yeah, it's about a kid who like 15 years ago or something. He becomes he starts a little detective business where he he finds the lost cat or who stole the what is this, the Snickers bar or comic books from the guy's desk at school, little stuff like that. And he becomes, he's a pretty savvy kid detective, and he even solves some proper, sort of like big crimes, and actually like gets to help the police to catch people and stuff. And he's like the talk of the town. He gets the
key to the city.
Key to the city from the mayor. But then the mayor's daughter is kidnapped. And everyone is like, oh, you'll find her, to this like 13-year-old kid. And problem
weeks go by.
Weeks go by and he never finds her. So cut to when he's like in his 30s and he hasn't moved on. He's still a detective. He's basically still helping like kids find their like baseball glove or lost cats or whatever. And kind of scraping by doing this.
Really, even that. He has a roommate that's like sick of him because he doesn't do anything. And his parents bailing him out because, well, his occupation lands him in prison. Well, prison, I guess. Jail, whatever the difference is.
Jail, no. Well, jail is, you're just in the sheriff's...
right, the short-term thing.
Yeah. Like the drunk tank is basically jail.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then he actually gets a real case from a girl in high school. Her boyfriend has been murdered, and the police haven't been able to figure anything out in the last like 2 weeks. So she asks him.
No clues.
They have no clues. She asks him to do it. Yeah.
So maybe you can help me now.
You help me figure out who, ate some cake or whatever.
Yeah, it was something.
Stole something from a birthday party. I don't remember.
Something like that.
And so they together then start try to figure out who killed her boyfriend. And hilarity ensues. No, not really.
Well, sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
It's so funny and very exciting
but very sad, I think.
Very sad
for a lot of the movie. You're kind of because he's kind of pathetic. But the more the movie goes on, you kind of realize that you figure out like why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you start off with the fact that at like 12 years old, he's got the entire town thinking that he's gonna solve a kidnapping.
Yeah,
and but that kidnapped his secretary technically.
Yeah,
so
she was
straight involved, and
she was hired as his secretary and was being paid in grape soda.
Yeah.
But you don't really find that out. They keep cutting back to that as flashbacks throughout the movie.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it just feels like he just never moved on. He peaked when he was like 13, and now he's 32, and
because
he's a drunk. He does
all his preteens solving mysteries instead of like actually making friends and finishing school and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's a complete like waster. He's constantly hungover. He's popping pills.
Doing drugs in general.
Yeah. Still cashing in the free ice cream for life prize that he got when he helped the candy store owner to figure out who stole his money.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. What's it called? Dagskassa. Whatever.
I don't know.
The money from the cash register at the end of the day, he's like he walks in there and the guy's just looking at him like, oh, hello.
Again.
Butter pecan, please. Because it's free food.
He's kind of ashamed of it, but
he knows. Like, free ice cream for life. That stops about a year in. Okay, you've had enough.
Unless you keep solving mysteries for the person.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, free ice cream for life does not mean free ice cream for life. It's this thing you say.
No, not normally.
And then you eat ice cream all summer, and then you get over ice cream, but not him, because it's free food. And he gets beat up by which I think is kind of strange. That he's not the only one that hasn't really moved on. There's the kid who beats him up because he busted him for stealing the
charity money.
The charity money from school. So he's still like angry over that, which is weird. But that's also kind of a thing. because the kidnapping happened, like it was like 2 weeks after the big, finding who stole the charity money. 2 weeks after the big, him
The
getting the
thing that
key to the
made him
city, yeah,
big,
made him
yeah.
popular. The mayor's daughter was kidnapped, and since they never, no one, neither him or the police figured that out. So it almost feels like the city was never the same after that. And that's kind of,
Yeah, they kind of hint at it as well. Like everything kind of turned gray when
yeah,
she disappeared.
yeah, and that's a thing, like, because he's looking back at, when he was at the top of the world. Of course, everything was brighter and everyone was happy. But it also translates over like into real life, where it just feels like the city is more crummy. Like you have like a gang, the Red Shoe Gang, which he busted
Yeah.
when he was a kid. They were like a teenage gang. Now they're like a motorcycle gang doing actual crime. They're still hanging
Selling
around.
drugs.
Yeah, so they haven't grown up either. There's like the city just looks dilapidated.
Yeah.
You have other like just kids hanging around. It feels like, no one has really moved on since then. Everyone looks tired. Like the
But
guy,
maybe
the guy in
it's
the
just
candy store, and the what's it called, the headmaster, the rector, principal. They just look tired.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's. I mean, obviously they look tired. That's how we see them, and the city is. But it's also supposed to reflect, mirror how he is feeling and how
Yes,
he's
of course, it's
his
mutual.
psyche. Yeah,
They're they're
I
they're
think
they're
this is
connected
there
in a way.
to kind of enhance the fact that he is feeling kind of
Yeah.
shitty about it. But
Um.
it's really well done and very almost pretty in a way.
Yeah. It's a very good looking movie.
Yeah.
Like camera work. Yeah. Set
No, but I
design.
mean like the way that his emotions are mirrored by the city, because
Yeah. Well,
it's not bluntly.
no, it's clever
Yeah.
storytelling,
Yes.
and that's,
Yes.
without saying too much. I mean, he mentions it from time to time. I'm like, what happened to this city when they're sitting at the diner? Like, this
Yeah.
used to be the center of the world for kids, when I was young. Look at it
I mean,
now,
of course, things happen. Like of course, the burger joint isn't gonna be the center of the world in 15 years later because technology and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm not sure actually. When does this take place? Because you see smartphones, sort of,
Yeah. They have smartphones. It's supposed to be now, basically.
but everything looks older. But maybe it's because it's a small town.
Yeah, it's a
Time
small.
really passed.
Yeah, exactly. Um. So, and that's also, it captured the breezy, like, Midwestern feeling pretty well.
But it takes place in Canada, right? Well, it's shot in Canada by
It's
bunch of
made in
people.
Canada. It's a Canadian movie, but they had a big Hollywood actor to be the star.
What?
I know the guy. I actually wrote a movie, like a kind of a cult classic from a few years ago called The Dirties. I never watched it, but I've heard it's pretty good. Other than that, though, he has never directed anything other than some shorts, and he was like a kid actor for a year or two or whatever. So this is his first big thing. What's his name? Morgan something? I don't remember.
The writer, yeah, Evan Morgan.
Evan Morgan, right? Yeah,
Writer director.
writer and director. Yeah, Evan Morgan. So like right out of the gate, this being his first movie, it's very very well made. Both the
Fair.
writing and like I said, directing. It just feels like a true professional has made it. And he's, what I think is even better is that it's obviously like a riff on the classic like noir movies. There's a detective. There's the dame who comes into his office. There's a missing person. Someone's been murdered. It's a classic 50s noir movie.
Yeah.
But it's also like mixed together with this kind of like dark indie comedy movie, and it works perfectly. The two like they mix perfectly, the tones.
Yeah.
which kind of that's kind of where the comedy comes from, because he kind of sees himself as an old-timey detective. He always has the suit on, and he watches old like murder mystery movies, and he likes to talk. He even mentions it sometimes that he talks pretentious because that's what he wants to sound like.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Yeah, but in real life he's just a screw up.
Oh yeah.
And that's where a lot of the comedy comes from. But I gotta ask you, because I've watched some other people talk about this movie and what they thought about it, and the first time I watched it, because I watched it twice, I didn't laugh that much. I mean, I didn't really laugh until when he's stuck in the closet in the kids' room.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I laughed
a
couple of times.
I might have chuckled
can't actually remember. Yeah, I can't remember a specific time I laughed properly, but I do know that I did. Like probably around the closet bit.
Yeah, because when he
damn it.
Yeah, he hides in the closet, and the kid never leaves the room. 4 hours later, he's still in there. Then I just laughed out loud, and I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. But I mean, the movie
then it kind of went dark when he went into the other kid's closet.
Yeah, but it was still kind of funny because he was like, "There's a monster in my closet." Yeah. And her mom said, "You're too old for that." No, there's literally something in her closet. But there's a bunch of other stuff that I didn't laugh at the first time. But the second time watching, because I was more prepared for the pacing of the movie, because it is kind of slow paced. It's not long, but like the first 40 minutes are kind of slow, not in a bad way.
No,
but if you're not prepared for it,
actually.
Yeah, but if you're not prepared for it, it's like it's a little slow. So now that I was prepared for it, I did find a lot of the movie more humorous, like when they're talking to the fat kid, or the portly one, as he calls him.
Yes.
She put her hand on his penis, like those. That's funny. Like. And they're playing it off like he is interrogating, someone in a real detective movie, but it's him and this teenage girl talking to some fat kid about like candy and
who's in her class.
Like... Yeah. He asks for a cupcake like 2 minutes before that. It's a it's a juxtaposition of the like I said, the genres that gives it a lot of humor. And I was constantly like sniggering throughout the second watch through of this movie.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know, but you didn't laugh.
I did sometimes, but I can't remember a specific part that I laughed out loud to, except for probably the closet scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did find it amusing at points, and sure, kind of like it was kind of a cringe laugh at the porky kid.
A lot of that,
for example.
And like whenever his receptionist kind of undermined him, like, could you get us a couple of bottled waters? Do I have to go buy them?
Where? Like the store?
The store. And then just sit there and wait for her to go to the store, buy the water, and go back.
Luckily, it wasn't long because it took a minute. So I don't understand why she was complaining, but like,
yeah, but
she's also weird.
She's a teenager, so she's gonna complain about everything, and obviously she's a person that complains. You can see it on her.
Emo.
Yes. Did you recognize her? I recognize her from somewhere.
No, not really.
But I couldn't find her in the credits because I didn't pick up on her name. What do they call the receptionist? Yeah, I didn't figure it out
Does
either.
Does he call her anything?
I don't know, but I know I've seen her in something else, and it's. Oh wait, I think I found it. wait, maybe it's her. Yeah, Sarah Sutherland. She was in Veep. She played the daughter of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. That's why. Wait,
how far down the list is she?
She's far down the list.
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy. Yeah, she's way down on the list. Anyway,
according to oh no, right. They're displayed in order of appearance because that's what the movie had on the
Okay.
credits.
Yeah.
So that's why Gracie is the first one. It's like, she did not get paid most.
No.
I hope not.
It's kind of, yeah. Well, now I found her. I don't know.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. But then, yeah, you said you didn't figure out the mystery of well, first of who murdered the boyfriend, but then also the other mystery that they, figure out.
Yeah, no, I did not
Me
see
neither.
that one coming.
And I'm
to be honest.
And I've said this before. I'm bad at figuring stuff like this out. So I wasn't expecting to figure it out.
Yeah.
No. And honestly, the first time I watched it, when he starts figuring it out, I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? And then, of course, when they explain everything, it's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, as soon as I started saying it when Abe and
Abe is the detective.
Yeah, what's the girl's name?
I have no idea. Rachel? I don't know.
No. Whatever. The teenager that he helps.
Yes.
When they're driving around and they notice that a car is following them, I was like, oh, it's the dude. It's the same. He's coming to kidnap them or something.
But no, it was Abe's parents.
Turns out his parents.
Following him around just to make sure that he's okay. Because they don't trust him.
It did plant the idea that maybe someone's after her.
Okay.
But I couldn't really explain it or justify it, I guess. And then when you got the paper flowers, like, okay, so that it is the same person, obviously.
Yeah.
That is keeping an eye on her for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But again, I couldn't really I would never have guessed the principal.
No, yeah. Big spoiler. It's the principal.
Yeah.
He murdered the boyfriend and 15 years earlier he kidnapped the mayor's daughter. And big reveal, the girlfriend is the mayor's daughter's daughter. She's the spawn of kidnap and rape, which is kind of and that's where the movie, in the last 10 minutes, just goes super dark. When he figures out who it is, and he doesn't confront the principal. The principal confronts him, because even when he kind of figures it out, he still fucks up.
Yeah.
He hides under the bed, but he drops the bobby pin that he uses to pick the lock. So the guy's just
he wasn't planning on confronting him then and there.
No,
of course. Check it out, and then turn out that shit.
He hides under the bed and is like, "Hello, Abe. I know you're in here." And he says, "I know you're in the closet," because everyone knows he's in the closet. And then he's like,
"I'm
under the bed."
I mean, it's still Abe who's they're just sitting there, and Abe's like, "So you did it."
Yeah, yeah, and then and you find out, kind of tying it together with this the theme of things becoming, I don't want to say the way he says it's not pure, but I mean things deteriorating, the town when they were younger, everyone was happy. He was on top of the world. Everything it was a great town. But then it's slowly lost its luster after the kidnapping, and it's closely tied to why the principal does it, because he becomes obsessed with, well, I guess he's probably been obsessed with a bunch of kids, but then he acted on the governor's. I keep saying the governor because his name is Gulliver. It's Mayor Gulliver, so he's the governor to me. But anyway, the mayor's daughter. Yeah. So he kidnaps her because he had some twisted notion that she liked him because she was basically an it girl.
Yes.
So she wanted to be in the center of attention, and for some reason, he got it screwed up in his head that,
he says something about her coming in and showing him her outfits every day.
Yeah, which was probably
she's probably just being very nice and saying hi to him.
Exactly.
Because she's the mayor's daughter. She's the popular girl. Yeah. She is obviously a pretty girl. So she's just keeping up appearances and being very friendly towards the principal.
Yeah, but in his creepy head, that means, ooh,
Yeah, that
she
means, oh, you
wants
like
it. Yeah, and
you
also,
want me to compliment you. You want me to
yeah, and
look at you.
he sees her as pure,
Yeah.
whatever that means,
Well, yeah.
So he kidnaps her, and it's also fun because it turns out that a lot of the they don't really say it, but I think they hint at that a lot of the mysteries that Abe solves as a kid that has to do with the school, like stuff being stolen from lockers, or especially the charity money.
Yeah.
They were like more or less orchestrated by the headmaster to see, like, he was testing Abe to see how clever he was, to see if he could
To see what he needed to do to fool him, or if he could fool him.
yeah,
I guess.
which
But
is that's a little,
the charity money,
yeah,
because
that was specifically
yeah,
designed by him to fool Abe, basically, because that's why he kidnaps the girl 2 weeks later.
yeah.
Which is a little contrived, maybe, that his entire, like, foolish notion that he's this great detective all hinges on that this principal was testing him just so he could kidnap one kid. It's a little like, okay, but it works. It's the one big thing, yes.
The one thing that makes him the big one in town, the one thing that makes him respected, I guess, because everyone was like, "Oh, it's funny that he's solving small mysteries," but then when he finds the money, that's like, "Oh shit, he can
Yeah.
actually do this stuff."
Yeah, I mean, they get him an
And that's
office
all
in
fake.
town, and
Yeah,
everyone's being nice to him, and like we said, he gets the key to the city and stuff like that. He's in the newspaper a bunch of times.
yeah, but that one, the big one, is obviously then fake. Well, we find out it's fake, which is, I don't. It could be just like it should have been maybe a bit of a you can't find the words, a turn off for him now that he found that out. But at the same time, I mean, he did solve a murder, so
Yeah, and I mean, he has, like he says, he's closed over 200 cases.
Yeah, that's true. But he's been living on false pretenses or false hope, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, but that's also like that's part of the great ending of this movie, because he's redeemed. He does find her. So he solves the murder and he solves the kidnapping.
16-year-old kidnapping.
Yeah, because it turns out that he kept her alive. Like we said, and they had a child together. He raped her, and then he gave the child away because the way I think she like goes crazy, basically. Well, no, he gives it away because he can't just show up with a kid.
Yeah, he can't explain why he would have a newborn all of a sudden.
Yeah, a 60-year-old man with a newborn all of a sudden.
Also, I mean, the kid is, I think she's 15, so the rape obviously happened like a year after the kidnapping or less.
Yeah, pretty soon after the kidnapping.
So I think a kidnapping and then all of a sudden the principal showing up with a newborn would look even more suspicious.
Yeah. So he's kept her in a shed behind his house.
Yeah, and fed her candy and grape soda.
Yeah, and when he finds her, he figures it out because after the principal kills himself, because he realized
way of trying to frame Abe for it. I'm not sure how.
I don't know.
Like, I'm gonna take you down with me or something.
Oh right, and then he stabs himself in the heart. But
yeah, it's like
Abe. There's no prints on the knife.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
How are you gonna frame Abe for that?
I don't know. But he stabs himself in the heart. Abe then goes directly for the fridge, of course, grabs a beer and recognizes the grape soda. Yeah, he is a drunk, so that's also like it's a character, like it makes sense for his character to drink when he's nervous.
Yeah, so. The first idea is to grab a drink or alcohol. Probably drugs if he could, but he didn't have that. Like alcohol is the first thing you look for.
And that's when he realizes, why would he have grape soda? Oh.
Yeah, because who drinks grape soda?
Yeah, and that specific brand.
Yeah.
So he
finds so much.
Yeah, and he finds her, and it turns out that she's been making the origami roses, which is also a theme throughout the movie.
That's all she can do now. She has nothing better to do.
And she's obviously been stuck in there, not moving around, only eating candy. So she's all like she's obese, and just sitting there with like her she looks all like
something.
Yeah, and she looks all like she gets like looks like she almost got a hump on her back, but that's might just be the but she
looks very broken down in general.
Yes,
it even looks like her hairline's receding, which
yes,
I'm just thinking that's due to
some
like
stress and like
lack of
angst,
everything.
lack of everything, yeah. And the
stuff.
It's so strange when this happens, because it is literally in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the movie's been kind of fun up until then. And then just everything hits at the same time. He figures it out, both the murder and the kidnapping, and then the principal kills himself. He finds out that he was duped as a child, and that has like scarred, like been hanging on his shoulders for the rest of his life up until now. Everything just hits at the same time, and then they cut to like a few weeks later, and then the town looks brighter a little bit.
Yes.
And there's a part when he walks by the guy in front of the barbershop, I think.
Barbershop, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, "Hey, Mr. whatever it is, Mr. McKellen."
Yeah, when he's
whatever.
a kid, the barbershop says, "Hi, Abe."
Hi, Abe. Yeah.
When he's grown up, he goes by and he says, "Hello, Mr. whatever his name is," and the person just like scolds at him.
Whatever.
But
then everyone's the
barber is nice again. They're all very friendly towards him because, hey, you solved the mysteries again.
Yeah. So life is slowly coming back to the town, but also to him. He cleans up his house. He gets more work because now people know he's actually a real detective.
Again.
Again. And
it's a bit hypocritical though that people dismiss him after one failed, very hard mystery. Like, come on.
Yeah, but I think that's also the thing. That's part of the theme, that the town never really recovered after that. It's not that they blame him. It's just that he obviously blames himself. He
lost faith in himself, and that is reflected with them losing faith in him.
Yeah, and him going from this plucky young go-getter to a drunk layabout. Like the town doesn't blame him for not finding her, but they do look at him as like a failure because he didn't move on. Like
he kind of gave up. And
he gave up and just became a drunk, basically.
Yeah.
So, but then and then we get to the ending, the very, very ending, when he meets up with his parents for the, I don't know, weekly or monthly like visit. And they're just talking like, "How are you feeling?" "Oh, no, I'm good." And it starts with that, "I'm fine. I haven't been sleeping very well though." And it's like the floors are creaking because now he's living alone in the house or the apartment. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, "Oh, so you were in the paper, and now you're getting more work." And it's
quoted
and then it's kind of awkward, and then he just starts crying, and so what's the matter? And just cries and cries. And the catch up this extreme close up, and then you just hear the music from the beginning of the movie when everything was happy, and then it just says "the kid detective," and it just cuts right there when he's crying.
I love that ending.
It was so good.
Yes.
And some people have said that that's like a laugh out loud moment, which I don't really get.
No.
I thought it was super sad because
it's cathartic.
It's
almost.
The weight has finally lifted from his shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, he's finally getting like everything's catching up to him. He's finally realizing that shit, I did it. I solved it. I found her.
But then also realizing that this town was harboring a horrible secret for 15 years.
Yeah.
That woman was living in a shed and being raped probably over and over again. Like everything just at once hits him and he just starts crying.
Yeah.
It was an amazing ending. And I
did comment like, "Mom, go hug your son." Don't you understand? He needs to do this. He needs to clear out his system of this now. And he needs to be loved.
He's finally ready to move on.
Yeah.
He got everything out, basically. Because that's kind of thing. He's kind of like catatonic throughout the movie because of what has happened.
He's just taking everything and just bottling it up and like
and
doesn't care. He doesn't show any emotion.
Shoves it down with alcohol and drugs. Yeah. And then everything just comes out. Yeah.
That's why it's so good. cries now and then.
Oh
Just
yeah.
that have a good cry. It's great. I promise.
I can see why people like it's almost not that it's people haven't said that it's like a funny moment, but people almost like laughing out of relief
I guess.
in the end, and I kind of get that, but I didn't laugh. I might have like whoa, but I wouldn't call that a laugh,
No, it's more of a reaction, just.
Yeah, but it's such a good ending.
Oh yes,
and it makes up for any little nitpick problem you might have with the movie, which there aren't many of.
I don't think I have a single one, to be honest.
Yeah, for me it would only be that I thought it was a little slow in the beginning, but that's it, and it's fine because that is like without a doubt it's going in my top 10 endings of all time. It's so good. And with the music and with the title over him crying, it's so good. Oh. It's like technically I suppose this movie came out this year. It had this festival release last year, but worldwide release was this year.
Yeah, because the date on IMDb is November 2020, but
yeah, but I know the internet release was like earlier, like late January, early February when I first saw it.
Yeah, the first internet release. Well, actually, Italy got it in October 2020.
So before the Toronto
the film festival was in September.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then Italy got it on the internet, and then America and UK got it in October, November, Ireland, November, Poland in January on the internet.
All right.
Portugal, January in theaters, I guess.
So it's a European 2021 release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of released here and there where they could, because it's a very small budgeted movie.
And also probably depending on where the pandemic would allow it, I guess.
But that's so weird. Netflix buys up every piece of shit movie they can get their hands on nowadays. Why didn't they buy this? This is, I mean, I don't want to say masterpiece, but it's a fucking work of art.
Well, hopefully the creators didn't allow it.
Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, that would probably like help spread the word more, I think.
But maybe they don't want it that way.
No, that's yeah.
Just thinking back of like the last year as well, like the top movies that we saw that we talked about here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like The Rental. That was also a very good movie, and again, it wasn't on Netflix. It was hard-ish to find, but it was also one of the better new releases we talked about.
Sure. Yeah, and I know like movies being released on Netflix gives them a certain like feeling of, oh, this is a Netflix movie. Even if not produced by them, it's just on Netflix. So this still feels like a real movie, but we just saw it on a digital rent, like VOD.
Yeah.
Because because. So that might be it. So it definitely adds to the feeling of an authentic movie, I suppose.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like we talked about Malcolm and Marie last week, right?
Yes.
And even that feels like it's just a Netflix movie. I don't count them as proper movies sometimes. I mean, it is, obviously. We did like Malcolm and Marie. We talked about it. Watch that one if you want to hear the details. But
yes,
it doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have the same feeling to it.
Yeah, somehow. there is still a little bit of a stigma, I think, around movies being made by Netflix. Like, oh, it's a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
And it even feels like on the bigger movies they release, like they did some movie with whatever his name is, the guy who plays Falcon in Marvel movies.
I don't remember.
Or whatever his name is. He made some sort of sci-fi action movie where he's like part robot, something. Came out just a few weeks ago. It's just this huge thing with a bunch of like big set pieces. I watched like 15 minutes of it and I'm like, nah, this is trash. Because it was like, nah, it's Netflix, I'll just turn it off. It just does something to movies. Now that movie didn't get super good reviews anyways, but I mean, I'm just even a big movie like that just feels like it's a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
So that okay, sure, I can see why maybe they didn't want it released on Netflix because of that.
No, I think some people are actually trying to reclaim movies. Well, the movie platform, I guess, or the movie industry.
Yeah.
Trying to take it back from Netflix and Disney, who are the biggest
streaming services.
Yeah.
And now would be a good time for that, because you don't have to compete with Marvel or Star Wars in the theaters. You can just release it to as a rental, as a VOD on YouTube or I guess Hulu, Prime,
or Blockbuster and stuff like that.
yeah, wherever. Or here in Sweden we have it on SF Anytime.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And yeah, so people who don't care about those movies can go to the cinema later when they reopen, because they're gonna. But then there will be a larger space, and like maybe even like streaming services or rental services like that will like promote movies like this more.
Yeah.
That would definitely be like a good evolution of the industry, because of all the corona stuff that's been going on. That would be a positive thing, definitely.
Yes.
Because then we would get more movies like this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this could be a reset to that.
Yes.
Not specifically this movie maybe, but in general, this situation could be a reset.
Yes. And we get more movies like this, or movies like I think I mentioned it last week. I don't have it here. VFW, another small movie that I recently saw that was great.
Yeah.
Or movies that I saw last year that was like this. A movie called Wretched. Oh, we saw it, right? About the monster in The Mom, and people forget there's brothers and sisters.
Yeah, we watched that. Yeah, we watched that at we had it on DVD or something. Yeah, we watched it at our parents' house.
I think we rented it at our parents' house for some reason. They weren't home.
Oh yeah, we rented it at SF, right?
SF Anytime, yeah.
Yeah.
And movies like that, or from like a couple of years ago, The Clove-Hitch Killer, great movie. Or what else? What else do we? Oh, whatever. More movies.
There are more movies, obviously. I mean, you can't always remember everything.
Yeah, and that's like we talked about in the Patreon exclusive episode. The problem, though, with these kind of movies, like I heard about this from Red Letter Media.
Mm-hmm.
If they hadn't talked about it, they just made a little short video about it, I would have never seen it. It would have just passed me by, because I didn't see any trailers. I didn't see any promotion for it. I didn't see anyone talking about it on YouTube or whatever.
No,
so
that's the.
I mean, maybe because it is more like a domestic movie, because it was they talk about seeing it being promoted on their streaming services like Hulu and Prime. So maybe they focus more on an American audience, the domestic audience.
Yeah.
But still, now that with digital movies and VODs and stuff, you can reach a worldwide audience, even if you have a very small movie and no budget for promotion and stuff. So I really hope that they do
broadens and they use it.
Yes, exactly, and that services like. Not Netflix, but YouTube and Prime and whatever, that they help.
As well, I guess.
And Netflix as well, yeah. Another movie that Red Letter Media told me about, just speaking of Netflix, a few years ago, called Paddleton. Never heard of it. They talked about it for like 5 minutes, like not even talking about that movie. They talked about Us. You remember Us?
Uh-huh.
And then just mentioned another movie called Paddleton that they watched. Great movie. Never heard of it before they mentioned it. Never saw it on Netflix, but it's on Netflix. Check that one out. You could check that one out. It's a great movie about two like middle-aged friends that have to come to terms with one of them dying of cancer, but kind of funny. It's great. Jay Duplass and Ray Romano in the lead roles. It's awesome.
It's that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just I need to get better at finding these kind of movies, but I also think that streaming services need to get better at promoting these kind of movies.
Yes. I mean, sure, you probably will stumble upon them if you go through a rabbit hole of trailers, which
yes, sure.
You used to do, like I used to do it at least, but it's not as common anymore, because now you just, instead of like going through random trailers and just clicking on and on and on, you just open Netflix and see what's there.
Yeah.
Which is probably
And
my bad, I guess.
And
I could probably go back to just checking trailers.
Yeah. But then also, because of what happened over the last year and a half, basically now, there's been such an influx of trash movies being released.
True.
Because now streaming services will just buy up anything, so they have stuff. Because the big studios aren't making movies anymore.
No.
I mean, they are, but not as much. And they're releasing them on their own streaming services. Like Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers and HBO Max. And I saw now Paramount is making a Paramount Plus streaming service, which is literally a joke. Once again, I'm simping for Red Letter Media, but that's literally a joke they made like 2 years ago, where they was talking about all these new and exciting streaming services like Paramount Plus and Warner Plus, which is a mutual thing between Warner and Paramount. Blah blah blah. Paramount Classics, which is another one for older stuff from 1995 and back. Yeah. And that's literally happening now.
It would probably be a part of Paramount Plus eventually. Because just look at what Disney Plus did now. They've
they have Stars.
Star now.
Whatever that is. Which is so annoying. Yeah, I'm still leeching off of your account because I'm never gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
And they have so annoying. They have the X-Files movies, but not the show, the season. No. So I was like, why? I don't know.
They have that Star thing. I just think that they've like tried to grab any kind of show and movie they can that's not like already bought by Netflix or HBO, and just like, we're gonna have this one.
I suppose. Yeah, and I gotta say, for as much shit as I give Disney, just browsing through the Disney Plus streaming service, and now with Stars, they have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, now with Stars they do, but before that, not really.
No, I mean,
bunch of old Disney.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and then I think they're like slowly adding in some more like mature stuff from 20th Century Fox. Like I saw now, just a few weeks ago, they didn't have Die Hard, but now they have Die Hard. So I mean, they're adding stuff like that.
Okay, I guess.
But still, it's Disney, so
it's Disney. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
See, we're back at ranting about Disney again.
God damn it, Disney.
Someone did liken the Kid Detective though to well, not like to a Disney movie, but like he is what the Disney detectives will grow up to be. Like sort of, but no, because I get it. Like the beginning was kind of could have been a Disney movie kind of thing, with the kid solving the mystery of the missing magazines, comic books, whatever it was.
Yeah,
that could have been a Disney movie a few years ago, to be honest.
Sure.
Like, I mean, I can't think of a specific one, but
I'm thinking of, I don't know, like Kim Possible.
Sort of,
but she's more of a secret agent, I suppose. But yeah, or like what is that called? No, that's Cartoon Network. The Operation Kids Next Door or whatever it's called. That's a different thing. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I can understand that.
Like the Minutemen movie. That's actually
sort of
one of the few Disney Channel movies I've seen that's actually good. We should do that one sometime.
I remember that one. Maybe, sure.
Anyway. We should actually do a good Disney movie. Anyway.
Try and find one of those.
Yeah. But going back to the Kid Detective.
Yeah, I can see that some people might liken it to what a Disney character might grow up to be. Because, yeah, it looks kind of like a Disney movie in the beginning. And then, Disney Channel stars that never really get to grow up properly. And then they kind of fall off. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not that they've written it that way, but I can see this similarities in that sense.
Definitely has more style and finesse than a Disney Channel movie.
Definitely.
And also, I was talking about I watched it twice. I saw it a second time today, while at work or while working from home. And there's definitely a lot of like little details, hinting at the ending, hidden throughout the movie that you definitely pick up on, the second time you watch it. Like, you see the origami rose paper that he he finds in the end, the one that was actually that the mayor's daughter had. You see that when he's when he's a kid, he starts trying to solve that mystery. He has a bunch of papers, and one of them is that folded out paper. So that's supposed to be like a visual, like, oh, I remember that, but it's so short. So, but I picked it up on the second one, and also when he's at home, when he's at the home of the teenage girl, whatever her name is, who hired him, he showers after waking up in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And they talk about her parents. Her parents are dead, so she lives with her grandparents. And he points to a picture. Oh, are those your parents? And it looks like they're
very photogenic.
Very photogenic, because turns out it wasn't her parents. It's literally like a picture, like ripped out of a sports magazine.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
No one takes a picture like that.
No, probably not. Did her grandparents, adopted grandparents, I guess?
Yeah.
Did they know? Well, they didn't know, of course, who her parents were. But like, why did they choose to tell her that those two people in that photo were her parents, and that they died in a skiing accident?
No, I think they just came up with something, and then that was it.
They just ran with it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, she's a teenager now, shouldn't she?
Well, if you live with it for your whole life, and also not to be mean, but she looked kind of ditzy. So.
Oh yeah, she was kind of probably
like every kid in this movie. Everyone's fucking clueless.
A bit slow.
Which also adds to the whole, deterioration of the town.
Yeah.
Even the kids are stupid nowadays.
Yeah, and like even what the principal says when Abe's interviewing him in the office, he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't keep track of these kids.
Yeah.
Like, he's also giving up, sort of.
Yeah.
On his normal life in this case, though.
Yeah.
No, not the other bit.
Not the other bit. So there's all those little details that makes it that then when you see it for the second time, it all like snaps into place when he figures it out. It just makes sense. And I think
this is also a movie that I could actually see myself watching.
Oh yeah, yeah, I watched it twice. I would definitely watch it again. It's watchable.
Yeah.
Very very rewatchable.
Even though you do know the mystery of it all.
Yeah, but it still has like funny moments, that you want to see again.
Even though.
Yeah. Well, here comes the kid detective. Smack! Like that scene.
That scene. I probably laughed at that scene, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably laughed at that one. Yeah, where he beats up the emo kids for making fun of him, and he's high on cocaine and God knows what, like he says.
Yeah. What do they call the ego boost?
Ego booster. Yeah. These pills are awesome. Yeah, but they're super addictive, and that whole thing also. First it kind of feels like, oh, so that was just a red herring, the whole drug thing, because you have the Red Shoe Gang is using the nerds in the school to hide the drugs, instead of the bad kids dealing drugs. It's actually the nerds now. But that also, first of all, like, okay, so that wasn't it, and why was there this long sidetrack when trying to figure out the drug angle? But then. That just adds to the whole thing that the town has changed. Like there is no bad kids and good kids anymore. All the kids are just, bad, basically. Yeah, the motorcycle gang and the nerds are dealing drugs. And then the bad kids are just doing the drugs.
Yeah.
So it all just adds up in the end. Nothing feels like wasted. We talked about this while talking about Pirates of the Caribbean in our Patreon exclusive episode, that there aren't any unnecessary scenes, or unnecessary lines of dialogue, and like
everything has a purpose.
Yeah, and it's the same for this. There's very few scenes that feel like superfluous.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because even though they don't specifically lead to the ending, they do have a point.
They build character, or they add to the theme of the movie, or
just add to the feel of the town, I guess.
Yeah. So
I mean, they do mention like the reason the nerds are the one who are dealing drugs now is because, well, the school is trying to handle the problem they had with drugs by making like mandatory locker checks, and
Yeah,
they have
the principal have to know the codes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
but they don't take the smart kids, because the smart kids are the good kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why they use them, which is also why he could plant the flowers, I guess, in her locker. In
exactly.
his daughter's locker.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And even like I'm just thinking about now the other girl that the boyfriend
Tiger Mask girl.
You're like, oh, so that was a dead end, but not really, because it was her picture that made the principal want to kill the boyfriend, because he thought it was his daughter who was impure, but it was
he thought he ruined her.
Yeah, exactly. So everything just it adds up to that fucking amazing ending.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. This is definitely a movie. This is the problem with this podcast. I think we're gonna of course call it the SpoilerCast, but I think we're gonna be careful with spoiling at least some movies in the future, because this is definitely a movie I want to recommend to everyone. But now we kind of spoiled it all.
We did say that it has rewatch value, so
sure,
even if you know the ending, you could watch it.
Sure.
And we do try and post specific. It was like I did try on Instagram to like specific. This one is spoiler.
Yeah.
Watch it before tonight. We'll try to keep up that, I guess. If there's a movie that we feel like
that we shouldn't spoil, we won't spoil. At least not too much. Just like not the ending,
or we will give
twist.
you a proper warning. At least.
But if it's old movies, fuck that. Or if it's a bad movie, fuck that. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna spoil stuff.
And it's all based on our personal reference.
Yeah, so. We decide. This ain't no democracy. We're the fascist leaders of the SpoilerCast, Tonya.
Yes. Indeed.
But that's gonna have to be it for this week.
Yes.
Thank you
very
much.
Please make sure to check out all the links and stuff, and leave likes and comments, and check out our Patreon, where you can recommend movies for us.
Yes.
Or request movies. Actually, not recommend, request.
Exactly. That's another perk for joining the Patreon. You get to decide what movies we watch on this SpoilerCast. And those movies are usually going to be in the free episodes, so you can brag about it to your friends on the internet.
Of course. And we will watch it no matter how good or bad it is. I guess.
Of course.
So far, we haven't had to like pick and choose, but
no,
we'll watch your movie eventually.
Yeah, we actually got another another request, so we'll probably do that in the near future.
Cool.
Yeah. But like I said, thank you for watching here on YouTube Live. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, thank you for listening. Once again, like Rebecca said, hit the likes and the follows and 5 stars and all that. Help us grow. Check out the Patreon. Check out the Buy Me a Coffee if you just want to throw in some money for fun. And we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.